Alright, so y'all, LakerFan here. As you can see by the title of today's video, we're here to ask, would NBA 2K ever change the archetype system again? So, I'm going to get straight into this stuff because I have a lot of cool ideas that I want to display in this video, and I don't want to get you guys bored with what we already know of. So, I just want to quickly recap over all the things that we do know of, over the history of all the type of builders that we've had in 2K, so I'll keep it very short when it comes to this. So anyway, I hope y'all enjoy. If you do, for to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on noties, all that good stuff, and like always, try to win to 500 likes. Now, as you can see, we have type 1. This is the new era. It's the obvious one that we split the categories into shooting, finishing, playmaking, defense, and physicals. What we've been on since literally, for this point, 2K20 and then on. So 2K20, 2K21 current gen, 2K21 next gen, 2K22 current gen, and 2K22 next gen. It's been all these four categories, and we split it into these different builds. In current gen, it's obviously the pie charts, whereas in next gen, it's more so fully customizable to an extent. But anyway, as we all know, that's what we're looking at for that. Now, for type 2, we have the old school styles. I don't know how many people know about this, but I'm talking like 2K11 style, where you had preset archetypes that essentially unlock your caps, and then you would choose what to upgrade in that essence as well. So for instance, you could pick an athletic point guard, and it would unlock the attribute caps to give you things like dunk at a higher rate than it would give you three-pointer, whereas you had things like all around, pass first, defender, scoring, three-point specialist. In a sense, this actually is very similar to the 2K17 build system. It's just people don't really know that or think about it. When you really think about it deeply though, it actually is very similar. Now, there were things like all around, whereas 2K17 didn't even have that as an option. It was just very specifically slasher, post score, rim protector, lockdown, stuff like that. Whereas this one, like I said, a little bit more of, I would say, a wider horizon, where it gave you a little bit more of a vague detail to your build, and it wasn't specifically just a sharpshooter. It could just be a scorer, or again, pass first, defender, and it still lets you upgrade other things in that aspect as well. It's just these were what you were really good at, so it was very similar to 17. And then right here, I just throw out a little theory for if they brought this back, that they maybe could do a little bit more of a modern aspect to this, where maybe you have things like pick and roller, pick and popper, back to basket big. I just was showing examples of maybe what the centers could be. You could have a rim protector, versatile defender that is meant to be more of a perimeter defender oriented build when it comes to being a big man. You could have point center that is more of a Jokic type, but also if you go a little bit smaller on the height, or even for that matter, it just leans toward giving you ball handling and stuff like that at the center position even more. All around big, rebounding big, pick and popper, pick and roller, as we mentioned. So that's just my little example for what could be done right there. Now we have type 3, where this was a 2K15 and 2K16 style. I actually did like this. However, it's very bad for like creativity and uniqueness when it comes to builds. As you can see, this is Pretty Boy Fredo's build back in 2K15, and I want to explain this with this graph kind of shown for you guys. So you had 100 bars that you can invest into your build. Now, I think this was done and poorly executed the wrong way. Like, it really just, I feel like they didn't have enough categories, or they gave you too many bars, because as you can see, you only had to cut out on one thing on your build. You could upgrade 100 bars into 5 different things, aka they allowed you to go up to 20 on every one of these. So essentially, you could just max out, as you can see, inside scorer, jump shooter, athlete, playmaker, and defender, and only lack in rebounding, and that's all you would struggle with your build. Or you could go ahead and maybe do what I did, where I remember I actually balanced between playmaker and rebounder on 10 bars each, and then everything else was at 100 or 20, if you will. But anyway, just a quick little recap of this. I think this would be a really cool build system as far as gameplay, but I don't think it'd be very fun or creative when it comes to the My Player Builder, and they would have to do this in a better way. There'd have to be multiple different categories to this. I think there needs to be maybe segmented areas where inside scorer and post scorer is maybe separated, maybe interior and perimeter defender are separated into essentially what is seen as takeover. So maybe we have the shot creator stuff, the sharpshooter, etc., etc. So that could be a cool different aspect as well, where it's maybe, like I said, shot, sharp play, rim, slash, lock, and post types of thing like that. But anyway, don't really want to, like I said, bore you guys with what we already know. Last thing, as far as what we already know, type 4, which is 2K18 through 19 style. And as you can see, it's literally you just pick your primary and then secondary skill, and it's going to give you different, like, just assortments to your build that you can just go ahead and apply. So essentially, if you chose primary 3-point shooting and then secondary shot creator, it would allow you to go almost up to the max for 3-point shooting. But obviously, if you wanted to be completely max on the 3-point shooting, you have to be pure 3-point shooting build, and it'd be as simple as that. And as you guys can see, there's different things that you struggle with based on each archetype. There's things that you're good at with each archetype, and I think it's a pretty good build system. It's just, it feels a little bit like dull to bring back into a future 2K game. I think it was nice for the time, and I think it was good for the sake of, like I said, 2K18, 2K19, but I don't know if I'd really ever want to see this in the future, to be honest with you. I do like the fact that we had like specific roles when it comes to this, but again, I think it's a little bit outdated. I don't think this is something that should come back. So now let's get into discussion about what could be a new build system. Now this stuff right here, kind of boring, kind of bland, I'm not gonna lie to you. I have a really cool idea after this one, so like I said, do not click off the video. I really want to present this idea to the world and the 2K community. But anyway, a couple like common themes or bland ideas that people just throw out there, and what I could easily come up with in like 10 seconds was stuff like this. Designated playstyles, so example NBA Live, but again, that's very similar to a few years in the past if you really think about it. Like for instance, you're picking a specific playstyle, aka the 2K11 build system that I just showcased you guys, and also again 2K17. It's very similar to that, but this would be pretty much things like the title of those builds is like post anchor. It means you're a really good interior defender. You can defend the inside and score on the inside really well, but you obviously struggle when it comes to anything to do with perimeter scoring, perimeter defending, obviously ball handling, stuff like that. And essentially, like I said, it was kind of like 2K17 build system, but it was still different at the same time. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely deeper than just me calling it something that was similar to 17 or 2K11 build system. But it was a pretty cool little thing where you had like designated attributes and designated badges that you would get with a certain playstyle. I thought it was a cool system. The gameplay sucked on NBA Live. I know that much for sure, but it was a cool little idea. And you've never really seen 2K bring that to fruition, but again, it's maybe because it was very similar to other ones in the past. Anyway, now we have a very basic idea as well, which I think could be really cool for like maybe a year or two if they were to utilize something like this. Fully customizable pie charts. So you would pick the percentage you want designated to each playstyle and then upgrade it in the allowed maximums. So essentially, let's say like 50% could be the maximum to a certain playstyle. So if you invest 50% into shooting, it means you get 99s in each category. And then you'd have to split the rest of the 50% amongst all the 3 different other categories. So for instance, you'd have to split the rest between finishing, playmaking, and defense, and then maybe even physicals as well. I think it'd be cool if you maybe mix that in as well. But anyway, long story short, you could select what type of pie chart you even want and fully customize it. It doesn't have to be any of the preset, pre-designated pie charts that we've had in 2K21 current gen, 2K22 current gen, 2K20 as well. It could be literally just an uncapped pie chart system that you can select and designate every single aspect of the build that you want. It maybe could be cheese. There maybe could be exploits to the certain like build system and stuff like that. Maybe point guards come out here and literally just go like 50% shooting, 50% playmaking, but obviously then that means they're sandpaper on, like they're literally just papered on finishing and defense and physicals. So long story short, that's a cool little idea. Now this is my spectacular idea that I really do want to advocate to maybe be a thing. So let me talk about this first and foremost before you guys get into reading. This system right here would be amazing for player retention, keeping people on the game, keeping them absolutely dedicated to the build system and the actual game itself in the my player sense. So I'll go ahead and read this to you guys if you really don't feel like reading yourself. So it would be an uncapped but long road to achieve, and I referenced Clash of Clans style, so I'm sure a lot of you guys have played that at one point in time. And the thing is, if you're watching this video or listening to me saying this and you've played Clash of Clans or something like that, chances are you're nowhere near the maximum when it comes to the actual like base and stuff like that. There's no way that you've played the game enough to upgrade all of your walls, etc., like army camps, stuff like that, and go all the way so deep into the point where you've put in like hundreds of like thousands of hours into the game of actually playing it. So the point of me saying all this is it's a seemingly infinite upgrade system where you can eventually unlock all of your attributes at 99, but you have to play and gain XP to further unlock into your build. So this would essentially be a cracked out 2K19 build system where you have so much more room for improvement on your build. And again, I think it was just a cool idea that I had a couple years ago where I just think like when an NBA player wants to get good at something, they practice it. If they want to improve their three-point shooting, they practice that. That could also be a cool little idea if you wanted to be very specific with that, but that seems a little bit more like strictly offline. I think it's just as simple as this. It'd be cool if the more grind that you put in, the more things you could upgrade. And maybe this could span to multiple different builds as far as how many attribute caps you keep unlocking or something like that. And I do understand, yes, I get it, because if you make it so that every single build gets everything at 99, everybody's just gonna max out this, like the height and the weight and the wingspan on every single build. So you have to have some sort of like kind of variety to this to an extent, because again, you can't just give 7-foot players 99 speed, 99 acceleration, etc., stuff like that. Or even for that matter, maybe even you can't give them 3-pointer at 99. So I understand that maybe we'd have to scale in a sense. Or if you're looking at it from a like kind of fun game perspective, maybe there's not as much variety to the build system, and everybody just kind of starts out on the same exact blank slate, where maybe you do have a 7-foot player and everybody just has that. I know it'd be kind of lame though. Don't take my words too much to heart for that. This is up to the guys who make like $100,000 to come up with ideas to take this idea and make it better. But this is just me, some dude sitting in his basement coming up with an idea like this, and I just think it'd be a cool baseline. So again, maybe people are just all on the same baseline build where you are just pretty much investing whatever you want into the build to fit your style. Maybe you want to be more of a role player and you want to be the rebounder or something like that. You invest early into rebounding, and eventually, as you keep on grinding, you unlock the things like shooting, finishing, etc., stuff like that. And you can choose how much of it you want to invest into the build as well. You don't have to go all out 99 on something first, or you could do it if you want to, and it'd be as simple as that. But anyway, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and read a little bit further into this, and it scales in difficulty in unison with the length of the NBA 2K23 year. It's possible that they use this, but probably not. But anyway, the point of me saying this is I think it'd be good for 2K to kind of moderate how fast people are upgrading their builds, because one thing that I wouldn't want is for people to just instantly get 99 overall if they're the no-life, the dude that's just putting in like literally thousands of hours a month. I don't even know if that's possible. It is, but anyway. It'd be good if they capped this out at a certain sense, or maybe scaled it really good so that it maybe is easier to do on the early side of things, and then as you get further into the build and as you get further into the system, it gets harder to do. So essentially, like I said, maybe it'd be an easy road to getting to 70, and getting to 75 and 80 and 85, it becomes slightly harder for every like path that you reach. But then when you hit like 90, 95, 98, 99, stuff like that, it gets significantly harder and harder and harder, so that it kind of scales properly, and you don't have people that are just no life in the game and they're 99 overalls at the same time that you're like maybe a month into the game and dudes are already 99, and they're playing against people like, you know, the casuals who end up with like they're only at a 70 overall, or 65 for that matter. It'd be horrible in that sense, but I think it'd be really cool in the sense of if they could scale it properly and gave it like certain attribute caps. So anyway, just to recap at the last sentence right here, a mix between the 2K18 and 19 system, but even more expanded and infinite to the time you can invest into the build and the game for that matter. And maybe it'd be cool if we literally none of us even hit 99 overall. I think it'd be a really cool aspect to maybe just, you know, showcase the grind that people put into it. Not to mention if you wanted to reward winning or teammate grade and stuff like that, rather than just to, you know, constantly play the most games and stuff like that. Not to mention if you wanted to reward maybe competitive play to an extent, where maybe ranked games give you more toward your build or something like that, and maybe Pro-Am gives you more toward your build than say Park or something like that would, and maybe that would spark up the competitive nature in the community and stuff like that, and people would not maybe duck games. Maybe you could have difficulty toward like the player difficulty that you're playing against, aka if you're someone who only has a 20 win percent and you're playing against someone that has a 95, you get rewarded more for even just playing them in general, even losing to them. Or if you do beat someone like that, kind of how like there was a Park badge in 2K17, I forget what it was called, but it was something that rewarded you for playing against really good people. Look, anyway, long story short, what I'm getting at here is I think it'd be a really cool concept if it was executed properly. And I do understand though, with a build system like this, there would be negatives to it. Like I said, the variety and just the contrast in maybe creating the build, because I understand a lot of people love that about like the recent 2Ks, is being able to just craft the build. You don't even upgrade anything on it yet. It's literally just crafting the build and setting it up. Literally, you don't even upgrade it past 60. It's just like the visual upgrading of it is kind of fun to people. And at the same time, that wouldn't be a thing with this system. It'd be all about gameplay. This is to get people to invest in the gameplay. It's to get them to just love every minute of the grind and really go at this in a dedicated sense. And just, again, the more you play, the more you're rewarded in this sense. And maybe, again, they reward winning, maybe they reward teammate grade, maybe they just reward just in general, like ranked play. Maybe the harder your opponent was, the like opponent strength and stuff goes up for every game. So anyway, that is my thought and that is my idea. I'm very open to critiques on this though, because like I said, no idea is ever going to be perfect. That's just the unfortunate truth to this stuff. I mean, this is not perfect in the sense of it's really bad for the people who love the build system. Every other idea, like from 2K18 and 19, is really stupid because it just rewards playing my career. And at the end of the day, you can then take that build out to the park and, you know, like people just like YouTubers would hop on people who grinded my career 24/7 for like 3 months, and then boom, YouTubers buy the account and now they're going out here with souped up badges going crazy. I feel like that system wasn't really good because it mixed offline and online play together. I don't think that's a good idea. But anyway, again, there's a lot of opinions. At the end of the day, we're never all going to be satisfied at the same time when it comes to a builder system because, truth be told, there's been a lot of options that we've been exposed to, and now everybody has their own different opinions. Some people love the 2K11 build system. Some love the 17 because it was similar to that. Some love the 15 and 16 system because it was so simplistic and easy to just play the game, and you could upgrade to 95 overall on pretty much anything, and you're playing against very similar people who are all 7 foot tall as well, and you're all just 95 overall, and whoever's the better player just wins. That's as simple as that. Or, again, the pie chart system from 20 to now. Like I said, we've all been exposed to a lot of different options, and I think at this point, there's a lot of different opinions because of that. So, anyway, feel free to leave your feedback on this. Give any ideas that you would like to as well in the comments. If you can fish something up in your brain and you want to just go ahead and tell me like a nice little idea that pops into your head and explain it in text the same way I did right here, because I didn't really use any pictures with this one. It's literally just text. So, if you want to come up with another idea as well and leave it in the comments, feel free to leave your feedback. I would love to hear it. If you made it to the end of the video and just want to show your support but you don't really have an idea, feel free to just put build in the comments to show your support to make it all the way through. But anyway, that is all for the video. I just wanted to maybe drop this idea on you guys and see what you think, and at the same time kind of recap and just talk about build systems that we've had in the past and compare and contrast, talk about which ones were good, which ones were bad at a very broad level. But anyway, that's all for the video. Hope you all enjoyed, and holler at me, 2K. Let's see if this actually can become an idea that people could get behind. But anyway, that's all for the video. Hope you all enjoyed. Other than that, take it easy, man. Peace.